health of its citizens.
Thank you, Morgan.
So it is now time to hear from our Liberal representative. John Fraser is the Member of Provincial Parliament for Ottawa-South, critic for health and long-term care, intergovernmental affairs, agriculture, food and rural affairs, and the interim leader of the Ontario Liberal Party. John has been a longtime friend of RNAO and is the proud son of a nurse, and we are very happy to have him join with us once again.
Thank you very much, Morgan, and thank you for all your work to elevate and raise the profession of nursing and all your members. And also congratulations to Dr. Holloway on her ascension to the presidency and for her work that is going to continue the elevation of the profession of nursing and where the concerns of nurses are heard in Ontario. And to my friend Doris, thanks for inviting me once again. I can remember back the first time we met at the first BPSO. I guess it was a meeting or a general meeting, and that was some years ago. And I want to thank you for all your work on behalf of nurses. And as Morgan said, I'm the son of a nurse. It's something that I'm very proud of. My mother, Mary, worked had a nursing career of 33 years as a public health nurse and with the VON, and then worked on the wards of the National Defence Medical Center for about 30 years. So she's taught me a lot. I've learned a lot from her. I always joke, and you've heard me say this before in AGMs, that if there was a nurse in every family, we'd solve our primary care problem, because mom was always the first call whenever anything happened and somebody wasn't feeling well. And on that, I want to thank everyone in attendance at this AGM and all nurses across Ontario for all your work during this pandemic. Keeping people safe. I know that you did that at risk to yourselves and at risk to your families. I know that because I'm a caregiver for my mom, and I did give her COVID a few weeks ago, and obviously inadvertently, but it was something that I was really afraid of. And she's fine, but it made me even better understand the kind of risks that healthcare workers take every day. So we're returning to the legislature probably this summer, and Ontario Liberals are going to continue to fight for the things important to nurses and to all Ontarians, our publicly funded healthcare system. And I'll outline a few priorities I think that are really important for us right now as a province. And I should say, I meant to say this at the beginning, I want to thank Christine Elliott for all her hard work on behalf of Ontarians. We didn't always agree, but I know that she worked hard and that she was always available and accountable day in and day out for the decisions that were made. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for her, and I wish her the best of luck. So right now in Ontario, we have a healthcare human resource crisis, in particular, across the board. In particular, Bill 124 been a catalyst for that, or that's pushed it further by not allowing nurses or other healthcare workers the right to bargain, while other workers on the front lines in the province are able to bargain. It's just not just. And compensation is important, but respect is important. So the government has to repeal Bill 124, and they have to let nurses fairly bargain. That's the bottom line. That's the only way that they're going to begin to address this crisis that we have in human resources. Because it's no good to have a bed if you don't have a nurse or a physiotherapist or someone there at the bedside to make sure that that person is getting the care that they need. Number two, we need to address the backlog that exists in this province for diagnostic, surgical, mental health procedures. So many people have put their lives on hold. In particular, children wait longer than adults in almost every place for almost every service. And the government has to address that. And lastly, we have to guard against the privatization of our healthcare system. We just saw recently that the government's pollster started polling about whether you would like to pay to get better care. Wasn't a government poll, but it was their pollster. And so I'm very concerned that this government will see the privatization of healthcare as something that they'll want to do for their friends. In any event, those are three things I think that are going to be very important in the next Parliament. I want to thank RNAO again for inviting me, for all the work that all the members of RNAO do across this province to keep people safe and healthy. And what I like to say is caring for the people we care for most. Thanks very much. Merci.
Thank you, MPP Fraser. And I love it that you call me your